Hey, it's Alexa here. I am thrilled you're joining me for this session. In this session, we will particularly look at the region of the neck. When dealing with neck pain, with tension, or even headaches, we can't just look at the neck itself. What is really helpful is looking also at obviously the whole body, but particularly thoracic spine mobility and ribcage mobility. And this is what we're going to do today. And to finish off, we will do a body mapping exercise addressing the trapezius, upper trapezius, and this will benefit the whole shoulder and neck region. It's one of my secret weapons. So let's get started. First, you need a towel. Fold it into a concertina, and then we begin with the ever so famous superficial fascia towel rub to awaken the nerve endings of the back body, especially in the lower back. There is a lot of nerve endings living in the thoracolumbar fascia. Now move the towel a little bit up and hold the towel in your back body. You may want to give a little bit of a pull to sense the towel in the back of your rib cage and also a little bit on the sides. And now take a deep breath into the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Now breathing three-dimensionally into the rib cage, breathing, expanding the rib cage in the front, in the back, in the sides, and using the towel as a feedback. And again, breathing into the nose and breathe out through the mouth. And again, and breathe out. So imagining your ribs moving up and down like window louvers, especially in the side and in the front, like a bucket handle, forwards and backwards. Take one more deep breath. And breathe out. Beautiful. Now take the towel higher up to the base of your neck. Rub this neck area a little bit, also the upper shoulders, warming up the tissues, and then move your arms higher. And now allow the base of your skull to sit in the towel, like in a hammock, and you give the towel a gentle pull. Take a breath in here, three-dimensionally into your ribcage, and breathe out. And then again, breathing in, out through the mouth, noticing how your head is slightly suspended in the towel. One more breath. Decompressing the cervical vertebra, and also giving your muscles that live on the base of the spine, the suboccipitals, a little bit of a lengthening. We begin with a self-assessment of the rotation ability of your thoracic spine. And for this, you take your hands in front of you, and ideally you have them as close as possible to your knees. You can have them also a little bit further away. And then you take one hand behind your ear and rotate, keeping the elbow in line with your ear almost, and then rotate back. So the bottom hand stays put, your hips stay put on your heels, and you're not shifting your hips from side to side. I show you from the front, and this is also a great way to assess yourself. You can set up a camera and film yourself from the front. So the elbows come in front. You're not shifting your hips from side to side. Ideally, you're keeping the hips where they are. And then you rotate to the other side. You can follow with your gaze. The spine follows the movement of the eyes. And then do the other side. You can probably see which side, for me, has a little bit more movement than the other. Take this as a guide and maybe check in again after a week or so of what has changed in the ability of your thoracic spine to rotate. Because the ability to rotate of your thoracic spine also determines the ability of your spine to extend. The better your rotation is in the spine, the better and the easier it will be for you to extend and come into a more upright position. And now we will do one of my favorite slings myofascial training exercises, the spiraling mermaid. Come into a Z sit, take one leg behind you, take your arms out to the side, and then take a long side bend. The left hand comes onto the floor, the right hand reaches up to the sky, and you find length in the upper lateral line of your body. Take an inhale here, and then spiral, the fingers leading the way, spiraling down to your bottom hand, fingers, elbow, shoulder girdle, spine, a nice nourishing rotation of the whole. Take an inhale here, and then reaching down your right sit bone and rotating back into your long side bend. Allow now the weight of your arm to take you softly to the other side. Placing your elbow and forearm towards the floor, your left arm is up to the sky, your tailbone reaches down to the floor, so you find a nice even centeredness in your lower back, and the left sit bone reaches down as well. A nice long side bend in the left hand side, and then rotate your arm down towards your hand, reaching. Take a deep breath, inhale here, and then as you exhale, spiraling up again, pushing your forearm of the right arm into the mat, and then slowly coming back up. Your left sit bone grounds towards the floor, and we come again into the side bend on the left side, taking a deep inhale. Feel this lift on the lower rib cage side. There's a lot of space still. And then spiraling, initiating from the hand, elbow, shoulder, spine. Take a breath in, ribs are moving. And then as you exhale, coming back into your side bend. And then allowing the weight of your right arm to bring you softly over to the other side. Now finding a lot of length in your left side, opening the hip of the left as you spiral towards the bottom hand, reaching through the fingers of the left arm. Take a breath in here, and then unspiral, coming back into a long side bend, finding a lift of your right ribcage side, taking yourself back up into a side bend, and then come to center. We're changing sides. Arms out to the side, a long side bend to the right. Take an inhale here, and then initiated by the fingers, by the hand of the left arm. Elbow, shoulder follows, rib cage follows. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, spiraling back, spine, rib cage, shoulder, elbow, fingers into a long side bend. The weight of your arm is taking you over to the left side, taking you down to the floor. Your right side now is nice and long. You're reaching through the right sit bone. And now you spin your hand down towards the bottom hand, reaching and finding length, opening the hip of the top. Inhale here. And then spiraling back into your side bend, finding space in the left side. And the right arm takes you over to the right side, taking an inhale here. And exhale, hand, elbow, shoulder, spine. Inhale into the ribs, into the space of the ribs. And then exhale, unspiral into a lovely side bend, and then again having a domino movement, taking you over to the left. Forearm lands on the ground, top arm reaches, top hip reaches to the opposite side, and then spiraling down towards the floor. The top hip opens up and you reach. Take an inhale here. And unspiral, coming back into your side bend. Taking yourself back up into a side bend and come to a seated position, into a cross-legged position. Exhale, take your arms overhead. Inhale out to the side. Exhale, posteriorly tilt your pelvis, so bring your pubic bone up, and as if you would hug a big beach ball. Inhale, reaching with your thumbs, your arms rotating out, your heart lifts, and then exhale, spiraling the hands, the thumbs down. Inhale, open, and exhale, tilting the pelvis back once more. Inhale and exhale. And then coming out to the side with the arms and lowering the arms down. Now, the next exercise you can either do cross-legged, or for a little bit more stability in the hips, seated on your knees, or in a standing position with a wide stance. Now, the next exercise will be a car exercise, a controlled articular rotation exercise. For this, I want you to imagine you move your body in thick honey against a little bit of resistance. Now give yourself a hug. Now engaging pelvic floor and deep abdominal muscles. Tilt forward and keeping this engagement. Remember, you moving a very thick honey against resistance. And now spill over the engagement in the front of your abdominal area towards the side. So you're rotating your body to the side and then spilling over this engagement that you have now in the front of the left hip over and come into a side bend, and noticing this in your torso on the side body. Now from here, spill the engagement very slowly into your back body. And then from here, coming back slowly into a side bend, very slowly, and feeling the engagement, spilling it over to the front of the right hip, and then spilling the engagement into the lower abdominal region again. Slowly come up. So we do it once more to the other side. Engaging pelvic floor, deep abdominals in that order. Flexing your spine as much as possible, and then spilling this engagement that you have in your front abdominals to the right, towards the right hip, by rotating your spine and your upper body towards the right. Now from here, very slowly moving through the resistant honey, come into a side bend. And then very slowly, keeping this engagement that spills now towards the back of the spine, very slowly coming over to the other side, spilling it over to the left, and then rotating towards the left. You notice how the muscles engage in the front of your hip, just above, and then spilling this engagement back towards your lower abdominals, and then coming up into an upright position. Give yourself a little hug. Okay, take a deep breath in and breathe out. So for this next exercise, you can either stay in a kneeling position or you sit on a chair. We want to ensure that the hips stay as still as possible. Take your arms forward and then bend your right elbow, bringing your hand behind you. Your gaze follows your hand, and then reaching back, and then bend your elbow again, and your right hand slides forward. And then the other side, the left elbow comes behind you, the right hand is still pointing forward, and then you reach back the left hand, bending the elbow, and then the hand comes forward. Keeping the length of your spine, a long spine, the tailbone down towards the floor, And then again, movement in the upper thoracic, a very light feeling of movement, bending the elbow and then reaching back and forward and lower down. Now the next exercise is one of my favorite exercises to body map the upper neck region. You can do this in a standing, seated position, whatever is comfortable for you right now. Take your right shoulder up towards your right ear and then bring your right shoulder back. So thinking of all the actions that trapezius, the upper trapezius does. And then you tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder and you bring your head slightly back. Anytime you do this, you shouldn't feel any pain. So you have gone too far. We want to explore our nervous system more than anything else and not force it to anything. And then you tilt your head up towards the ceiling. You stay here for a moment. Take a breath in, out through the mouth, and another breath in, out through the mouth. And now we reverse this. So you turn your head back forward. You bring your head into line with your spine again. You bring your head up. You lower your shoulder and bring it into its centered position. Now already notice the difference between left and right. And now take your head to the opposite side. Bring your head forward and reach your shoulder down and slightly forward. And then we pulse with the head again. There shouldn't be any pain. Twice. 1, 2. And then come into a centered position. Notice what you notice between left and right. And now we repeat this on the other side. I can already feel there's a huge difference. Now, take your left shoulder up, bring it back, bring your left ear shoulder, take your head slightly back, and then rotate it away from your shoulder, a little bit up, nose up to the ceiling. Stay here, take a breath in, breathe out, breathing in, breathe out. And now the reverse, bring the head, rotate your nose back forward, take the head forward, take your head to center, lower the shoulder and bring it into a centered position. Now bring your head to the right shoulder. Take your shoulder down a little bit and forward. And now bring your chin and your nose down and forward towards your left shoulder. Stay here and do 2 pulses. 1, 2. And then coming back to center. Et voila! This should feel way more balanced again. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a movable day and I see you next time.